Hi there, it's Babs here from Fiery Phoenix, and today I've recorded a quick tutorial for you on how to make a cushion cover which has an inbuilt inset zip. It's a very straightforward process. A lot of people get quite nervous about it, but it is a lot easier than you think, and hopefully after today you'll be able to make yourself any cushion cover in any size that you like. So hopefully you're going to enjoy it, and hopefully you'll be able to learn something and stop being so scared of inserting zips, which would be excellent. So what we're going to need to make our cushion cover is some fabric, obviously the zip that we're inserting, which is the whole point of the tutorial, a fabric erasable, air erasable fine tip pen, we have a rotary cutter, we have the mat, we have a nice solid ruler to use with the mat and the cutter, we have scissors, we have the seam ripper, which we'll come to later on. We have pins and needles, we have my little tray of bits and pieces for my sewing spiders, more on that later on, and obviously the pillow form that we're actually using. So I'll be making a case for this, and the whole point of this is that the zip will fit into the fabric that we're using. It's not too long, not too short, we're not going to put anything on diagonally, we're just going to go for a centre seam, insert the zip, and it's actually far simpler than you could imagine. So let's get on with the measuring. And the first thing that we're going to do is see just how much fabric we really need, and to do that I can just use my trusty new board, picked up today. Hurrah! So excited to have a nice new board for cutting. So we just measure from corner to corner, and in this case that is 15 inches, and then we can measure the other corner to corner just to make sure it's a square, and yes, it's 15 inches. So if we're going with imperial measurements, then we'll add an inch on to all the measurements, so that would be 16 by 16, which gives us a ½ inch seam allowance. Now 16 by 16 will take one side, and then on the reverse, where we want to put the zip, we'll need to have an extra seam allowance, so we need to have a 16 by 17 piece of fabric, which we will then cut in half for the reverse. So let's get on with measuring and cutting. So we have some fabric, we have selvages, and we need 15 inches by 15. So I'll cut the straight edge through the fabric. Nice and firm pressure. Never remove the ruler until you've made sure you have actually cut all the way through all your layers of fabric. Otherwise you end up with all sorts of mess trying to find those edges again. So that's our lovely straight edge. So now we can find 15 inches. So we line that up. You can either measure with the board, or if you had a quilting ruler, you can measure off of the ruler. As I don't have a quilting ruler right now, I'll be measuring off of the board. So I straighten up the edge, find my 15-inch line, and this will give us first, it will give us the width, and then we'll measure the depth. Close, so close. There. And where is the other one? There we are. That's our waist fabric. Oh, rather not waist, but unused. So we now have a 15-inch deep piece of fabric, which we can double check by measuring. So there's our 15 inches. And we need one piece 15 inches across and one piece 16 across. So we'll take off the selvage. one piece which is wider than the other. The larger of the two will be cut in half. So that's all our cutting done. So, what we're going to do is make sure that the patterns are matching after we press them, and we're going to pop on the zip, and as you can see I've already made a mark where the end of the zip is, right there and there, to correlate with the end of the zips, and that's using my erasable marker. So what we'll do is sew short stitches, long as possible stitches, so I'm going to be sewing at a 4 and this will be a 2, and that is because this is tacking purely to hold it together. So what we shall do now is move over to the sewing machine, and then the stitch is set, the stitch is set at 2. Take my sewing spider, which will catch any nasty snacks before it goes into my piece of work, and then I'll sew that through, and then we'll begin to sew through with a 1/2 inch. And then we hit our mark, we move up to 4, and we sew them down to the next side. Strap to 2, finish off. And then we need to cut away the sewing spider, and then we have short stitches, long stitches, short stitches, so we just need to go and press this open now. Now we have the seam pressed open, and we can then add in the zip. Now, very, very important that you remember this, we need to have the zip facing upside down. So the tag of the zip needs to be facing the fabric. And what we want to do is line up this seam with the zip, the teeth of the zip. Going to pin that in place. So we'll find the mark where we were starting, and then we will start to pin this in place. You can take your time with this. It needs to be accurate. You need to make sure that everything lines up correctly, or when you finish you will have a very unattractive zip fastening. It needs to be perfectly aligned. It's very easy to twist off. It needs to be perfectly aligned to the actual seam. Now at this point some people will use sticky tape to tape across. Some people won't even bother to tack, but I'm going to tack, and I'm going to tack using contrasting thread once I've found my needle, which is here. So I just need to grab some contrasting thread, which in this case I'm taking off with another bobbin. A nice bright blue, should show up very well. And it's just a loose tacking that we're going to be doing. To knot anything, start off with a couple of tack stitches just to hold it in place, and then just very loosely going up and down the length of the zip. remove the pins as soon as you've started putting the tacking stitches through. And because we will be sewing across this point, we do not want to leave the zip handle out. We need that inserted the other direction. Otherwise we will have all sorts of needle breakages going on. And I'll just sew this across and then back up the other way. So now we can change the foot on our sewing machine to the zipper foot, and we'll start sewing the zip on. We sew it from the right side of the fabric, which is where it starts to feel a little bit nerve-wracking for some people, but honestly it really isn't. Just change the zipper foot. Very, very simple process. And you can have it left or right aligned depending upon what you're sewing. And you start one end. Nestle it up against the zipper teeth rather. Careful as we come past the actual zipper head. Rotate. And back. Time. Rotate, come back the other way. Rotate and go back one last time. And you're done. This is where we use a seam ripper. Take out tacking stitches, we wanted to use contrasting thread. Very simple to remove. Okay, and then we simply remove the tacking stitches along the centre. Again, using the trusty seam ripper, which is very simple because you can just slide it along. Slide it along and simply stop at the end where you've and your dates, and then that should reveal your zip. Pick out the little pieces and test that your zip actually works. And now that works, we can complete pillowcase. Open the zip, because that's how we're going to turn the case. Now very quickly, place these two pieces, one over the other. And we need to change foot back to our regular foot. Sewing spider through. Check we're still on 2. And then we can sew this together. Sewing spider off, and we're actually going to cut across all our corners to make it easier to turn. Corners. And there we have a completed pillowcase. So that's all there is to it, and I hope that you've managed to take something away from the video for you. It's not as scary as it seems, even though my camera decided to do a little bit of a dance towards the end when I was making the actual cushion piece itself. Hopefully you managed to see everything that you needed to in regards to the actual zip construction. If you've got any questions, comments or concerns, please drop me a message, leave me comments beneath the video, that would be great, and let me know if there's anything else that you want to be covered in tutorials. I run a group on Facebook called Starting to Sew, so come along and join in there. If you've got any questions or comments, show off your work. We have a monthly roundup video as well for that. It's a really nice group with lots of helpful people. And of course I take on individual jobs, work, projects, and I teach. I'm really looking forward to setting up my kids classes this summer, which is going to be wonderful. And this is the first in a series of zip-based tutorials, so hopefully you'll be along to catch some of the others. And if that's the case and you'd like to see more, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel. That would be absolutely brilliant. Thanks a lot. I'll see you later.